Alright, here's your motivation. You're a freak with a red nose, and nobody likes you. Action! Brilliant! Hello beautiful people of the internet, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah if you're new here, and I'm so excited that you joined me today. Okay, let's talk about it. Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. This is the book that we're going to be tackling in today's video. If you don't know, Lauren Asher writes adult romance, and she is one of my favorite romance authors of all time. So this one in particular is her brand new release of her brand new series, the Lakefront Billionaire series. I originally heard about and started to love Lauren Asher from her Dreamland Billionaire series, which I'll pop up a picture right here. The first one is The Fine Print, the second one is Terms and Conditions, and the third one is Final Offer. This series follows three brothers that own an amusement park, and each book follows a different brother. Ugh, I still think about this series to this day and will recommend it until the day I die. But this one is part of a brand new series that she's starting, but it's still following some billionaires. By the way, I have already started it. We'll get to that. Julian is a billionaire, obviously, and Dahlia is also doing really well in life. So this takes place in the same world, same town as the Dreamland Billionaire series, which is Lake Wisteria. Basically, Dahlia has moved away, but she is back in town, and in the very beginning, Julian and Dahlia have a car accident. They hit each other. Not starting off on good terms, but they are both in the design industry. Julian works in construction and Dahlia works in design. They want to buy this property. They both have really good plans for the property, but they can't come to terms with who needs to buy it. So they decide to both buy it and go in on the project together. And this should be really fun because they can't stand each other. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, guys. I am eating this up. Okay, I'm already on page 116. And I started it last night. So it's so good so far. So I want you to just behold. Look at this. Are you kidding me? And the tabs match the book, which is so aesthetically pleasing. And let's talk about something else. There were two instances that I literally wanted to chuck the book across the room because one, we see Cal and Elena from book 3 of the Dreamland Billionaire series, and then someone mentions Declan. Lauren Asher, how dare you? The audacity of the Easter eggs had me gasping for air. Someone bring me back to life. I'm sorry, I'm being overly dramatic because I can't seem to find the words to explain to you how much I am enjoying this book already. I'm eating it up. I'm having the time of my life. You ever go into a book and kind of forget that you're reading words on a page? I'm getting lost. I'm getting lost in it, and I'm having such a good time. So I will check in throughout my reading experience through this with you. Hopefully I will catch some of my reactions on it. I really wish I would have gotten my reaction when I saw Cal's name come up, but hopefully I can catch some more reactions. I will see you when I see you. Hello, I have an update for you. Let's talk about it. Okay, so I am this far. Look at these tabs. That's unhealthy. I have made it to page 208. I'm on chapter 21. So I'm this far. And let's just talk about it. Okay, so I told you guys that they found this house that they both want to renovate or fix up because they both have careers in design. So they both have really good ideas for this house. So they decide to go in on it together. The thing is though, is that they can't stand each other. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but I am going to tell you about this one specific part that had me gasping for air. So if you don't want to know specific parts, then just kind of like skip forward. But let's talk about this one specific part. So Julian was running late for a meeting and they were at the house and Dahlia was like, you go on, I've got a few things that I want to look at. And so he leaves and she decides that she's going to get on a ladder in the attic and grab something. Well, when she does that, she falls off the ladder and she has hurt herself in some way, shape, or form. Let me see if I can find that part of what he says because I was screaming. Okay, so she can't get to her phone because it's across the room from her and obviously she's hurt. She can't get up. And someone is calling her and she like uses like voice to answer the phone and she literally just says, whoever you are, call Julian. He knows where I'm at. I'm hurt. I need help. And then the chapter ends. And here's what this man says. He said, I didn't think when I ran out of my office or when I broke 5 different road rules in my panic to make it back to the founder's house. In fact, my body was running on pure adrenaline and a single brain cell as I rushed into the house, shouting Dahlia's name while searching for the attic. What? You don't care about her though. You don't care. You don't care. I thought you didn't care, Julian. And then like he finds her and she goes, will you drive please? Because she doesn't like ambulances for a reason that I won't tell you. And he said, I hold her down by pressing her shoulders while assessing the situation. I'm going to have to carry you. Guys, there are so many times in this book, every single tab, just want you to know, every single tab has been a moment where I have just been head over heels for either this man or this relationship. Quite ridiculous, I know, but oh my gosh, let me read you some more. So this is a little while later and he's like somewhere off in the distance and she gets out of the car and this is what he says. Dahlia climbs out of her sister's car in a pair of leather boots, a thin sweater that can't do much to fight the late October chill, and a designer skirt custom made to drive me crazy. Guys, I'm obsessed. Okay, let's talk about something pretty serious in this book for a second. So when they were in college, Julian lost someone. Like someone passed away. I'm not going to tell you who it was. But he lost someone and he basically went home and never spoke to Dahlia or his friends again. Let me just talk about that for a second. That has a deeper meaning in itself because I feel like when people are grieving, on the outside, it may look like, oh, they are disassociating with us. Oh, they are just forgetting about us. Oh, I haven't heard from so-and-so in a while. When in reality, you have truly no idea the depth of grief and mourning and just pure sadness that that person is going through. And so I really, really appreciated how Lauren Asher took that approach. She doesn't go super in depth in it, but honestly, I can read in between the lines. It adds so much depth to this story, and truly I appreciated that part of it because nobody really talks about that. When you're grieving and when you're mourning and you're trying to put your life back together before this tragic event happened, you know, you disassociate, you kind of isolate yourself, you don't talk to as many people, you don't talk to your friends as much, or you kind of leave people alone and without even meaning to because you're trying to figure out your own life. Oh my gosh, I truly appreciated that. I appreciated how she handled that and I can connect with that. That alone added so much to this story for me. So that is my update. I'm on page 208. I'm going to try and update you again when I get to page 300. Okay, so let's go scream and holler some more. Okay, bye. Guys, we had an interaction with Cal Kane. We had an interaction with Callahan Kane. So Julian cannot find Dahlia and he pulls his mom aside and he goes, have you seen Dahlia? And she goes, check with her mom. I already did. Hello, hello, hello. We've officially finished Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. These are the final tabs. So aesthetically pleasing. I loved it. I loved it. I told you I was going to update you on page like 300 or 400, and I didn't do that because I just kept reading. Let's just talk about it. So I think what I was talking to you about last was the representation of grief in here. And let me just tell you, that is my favorite part of this book. I have made it pretty clear that I love representation of grief in books, and this one just did it so incredibly well. There was a part in here, a scene in here, that was just Julian, and it made me sob. And honestly, just that scene alone made the whole book for me. I think Lauren Asher did really well with portraying what she was trying to portray. Also, I think I want to discuss something with you really quick, because I don't think I've ever kind of talked about this on my channel, but I do think it needs to be said that Lauren Asher writes spicy romances. Her books do have scenes throughout the book, and let me just talk about that for a minute. As for me personally, hello, welcome to my channel. This is my space of the internet. As for me personally, I don't mind spice in books, but it has to be necessary. Do not hand me a book that's going to be 90% spice and 10% plot. I don't want it. If that is your prerogative, please do not take offense to that. This is my personal opinion. Hello, this is my channel. If you're going to put a spicy scene in a romance book, I need to be able to feel the chemistry first. So authors, if you're going to give me two characters that I'm supposed to believe that they're in love and that there's chemistry between the two, I need to feel it, okay? I need to see it. I need to see some butterflies. I need to see some tension. I need to feel it before you throw anything else at me. And I think that's why I love Lauren Asher so incredibly much, is because she does it in such a way that first and foremost, she makes sure that you absolutely adore the characters first. And you fall in love with the characters and you fall in love with their relationship. And then when it's necessary, she will add those scenes in there. Again, it's not an overbearing amount. It's not something super duper crazy. For me personally, it does not take away from the story. It just adds to it. Now, I have read romance books that completely take me out of the story and I'm just completely uncomfortable. I do not want a romance like that. And that's where I get a little iffy, is because I know we're all different in the amount of spice that we like in our books. I'm not one way or the other, but again, I don't want an overbearing amount that is just plain ridiculous. But again, Lauren Asher has never made me feel uncomfortable. I will say that the language in here got a little bit heavy, and that's kind of hard for me to read, and that's another thing that kind of bothers me in books, especially romance books, because why? But that's another topic for a different time. I loved it. I loved it, and the main reason that I loved it is because I loved these characters, and I loved them individually and I loved them together. It was truly a story about two people falling in love, and I loved every second of it. All right, my friends, I will wrap up this rambling ending. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end if you made it here. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you want to stick around, and I will see you on my next video. Bye, friends.